Quality photographs along with one-of-a-kind customer service that goes above and beyond customer expectations. Sky photography will be a sole proprietorship. I chose this because it's quick and easy. I mean, besides my business license, I sign on the dotted line and I'm ready to go. I'm going to be able to avoid the recurring legal fees, all that sort of thing. And sky photography is going to be a service-based business. My strengths include experience in photography. I've been a photographer for about 4 years now. I've had the opportunity to work for a portrait photographer at a ballet center. I've also taken photography classes at City Arts for the last several years. I'm going to have minimal overhead. I'm not going to have a storefront, so that's really going to keep all of my fixed and variable costs down. And I have a large network of friends and acquaintances in the photography business from being so involved in the local photography businesses throughout the last few years. My weaknesses are that I have little extra equipment right now. I do have all the basic equipment that I'm going to need to get started. I have a professional level camera, some extra lights, lenses, things like that. I'm not going to need to go out and buy anything new to get started. And my lack of reputation so far. Though with my promotional plan that I'm going to be telling you about in just a minute, that won't be a problem changing. My opportunities, I am the same age as my target market, which is awesome. I mean, how many businesses have the opportunity to be around their potential clients, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. It opens up a lot of doors to be able to meet new people. And I have new potential clients coming in every year. Every new wave of seniors, those are more people that I can take the pictures. And not only that, but as I expand my business, the people I take their senior pictures for, they're going to remember who took their pictures, when it's time for them to find a wedding photographer, when they have kids, their newborn pictures, yearly pictures, things like that. It's going to be very nice. My threats are the large advertising budgets of some of my competitors. But it's pretty well known that for service-based businesses, word of mouth is one of the best things that you can have going for you, especially when you're working with high schoolers. We talk a lot. I mean, that's how we find out just about everything. And other photographers, they are going to have storefronts, studios, all that kind of thing, but they're going to have the overhead costs that come with those. Some of my competitors include Kevin Brown Photography here in Wichita. He does own his own studio, and he has access to lots of equipment, multiple cameras, lenses, all that sort of thing. But with all that comes all the overhead, and he's not originally from Wichita, and so that's going to hurt him in the way that he's not going to be as familiar with businesses that have been around for a while, and local spots to shoot pictures, things like that. And he's not going to have, the daily contact with the potential customers that I'm going to have. And there's also places like JCPenney Portraits. I mean, they get lots of walk-in traffic. They're right in the mall, which is convenient, and they're able to afford low prices because of that. But you're not going to have a whole lot of options. I mean, every client that comes through is going to have pretty much the same thing. And of course, all their stuff is indoor in their studio. My target market is going to be high school juniors and seniors from average income families, and most of these seniors are probably going to be they're going to be paying a portion of their senior fees on their own, and they're going to be living in the Wichita and surrounding area. And I'm thinking schools such as Campus, Mays, Goddard, Andover, Augusta, just some of the local area schools. I mean, we all compete against each other in sports, and so that'll help by, we have friends from all the different schools, help get the word around. My product. What's different with my pictures is that I'm really going to have an emphasis on pushing the fine art look. I don't want something that's just going to make people say, wow, she looks really pretty. I want images that are actually going to be like, wow, that is a beautiful picture altogether. Something that people are going to want to hang on their walls. Along with my product are also my prints that I'm going to sell to the customers. I'm going to get my prints from Douglas Black and White here in Wichita. They're a locally owned and ran business. I have family that has been friends with the owners for a long time, and they are great people. Not only are they great people, but when you're working with a local business, you're able to get your turnaround times a lot quicker. And if there's any errors, they're usually a lot more willing to work with you than if you're working with an online company where you're shipping back and forth and talking on the phone with people you don't know. It just saves a lot of frustration. And my price, I'll be charging a sitting fee of $15 per hour for the shoot itself. Shoots can be expected to take anywhere from 1 to 3 hours depending on what they want. And my prints are going to be marked up about 400%. And that may sound like a lot, but when I'm being charged, say 50 cents for a 4x6 print, I can turn around and sell that for $2. That's still a really great price to them, especially when you're looking at other photographers selling a 4x6 for $6, $7, $8, which isn't unheard of at all. My promotion, my main promotion I'm going to be doing is pushing an incentive program. If you come to me and I have your pictures taken, and you refer your friends, I'm going to give you $25 worth of free prints. Now, that's not going to cost me a whole lot. I believe it was $6.25 is what that's actually going to cost me. And so, it's a good deal for me. It's going to encourage them to really talk about who took their senior pictures and get excited about it. And I'm sure mom and dad are going to appreciate that too. That's going to be less they're having to pay. Most of my business is going to be ran out of my house. That's where I'm going to be doing all of my editing work, my phone calls, things like that. But I am going to be having a post-shoot and a pre-shoot meeting with my clients. And I'm wanting that to be at a neutral location, a coffee shop, bookstore, something like that, where I'll be able to bring my laptop and show them their options. And just it be a really relaxing, good time for everybody. For my promotional plan, I'm going to have my incentive program that I just talked to you guys about. I'm also going to post posters at local schools, businesses where high schoolers would be likely to see them. And I'm really going to push having a Facebook business account. Anymore, high schoolers spend, hours on Facebook every night. I actually have just about 1,000 friends on there, I believe. And so when I set up a business account, all my friends are going to see that I have Sky Photography Business as one of my pages. I can upload pictures on there, tell about my business. People can get on there, make their own comments, things like that. And if they become fans of it, all their friends will see that they became fans of it. And it's just a huge chain of free advertisement. Economics of 1 unit. An average of what someone might spend I figured to be $312.50. Now this is just a basic package that you can expect someone to spend on prints. And then that also includes a 3-hour sitting fee, which is $45. That brings my gross profit per unit to $205. And with that, I'll be spending $62.50 on prints, and then I took out my labor cost as well. My monthly revenue is going to be $2,500, excuse me. And after taking out all of my fixed and variable costs and my taxes, that brings my monthly net profit to $1,062. I'm struggling. For my fixed costs, I'm going to have my cell phone and internet bill, money for posters, coverage on my equipment, and that's going to cover, my insurance is going to cover my equipment and also any basic liability. And then my depreciation is going to be just the loss on my equipment, and I figured that I'll be able to buy a brand new top-of-the-line camera every 3 years to keep up to date with technology, and I'll also be able to buy some new lenses with that as well. And then for my variable costs, I'm going to have fuel, and that will be to and from my locations. My return on sales is going to be 43%, and I'll have all my startup fees paid back in under 1 month. and my return on investment is going to be 733%. That number is so high due to I'm hardly going to have any startup fees at all, and then I'm going to have a very, very large profit margin. My exit strategy. I will know my business is successful when I'm able to live comfortably off my business profits. And I mean, that may be while I'm still in college, be able to pay for, all my basic expenses, things like that. And then afterwards, I'll be able to expand my business. My profits will increase as well. And I also want to, develop a really, really high reputation for my business. And if my business is not a success, I'm going to be able to simply continue my education. And I'm not going to be out any large amounts of money, which will definitely be a big plus. And then I'm going to be the go-to girl for my close friends and family for their portraits, things like that. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Yes. Will you have a need for a computer system?
Yes. I already own a brand new MacBook. I bought that this last year, and that's where I will do all my editing. I already own all my editing software, and that's where I will, be able to update my Facebook page and things like that.
Okay, and will you be printing the actual photos?
No, I send my pictures to the Douglas Black and White that I mentioned, and they print them off for me.
Gotcha.
And
now,
all that.
Will you do any of the photos at any point?
Any of the printing? No.
Is it feasible?
The only way to get the quality of pictures that I'm going to be wanting is to buy, the printers cost thousands, and it's really just cheaper and more efficient to send them to a printer that already has all of that.
But you have, you have the cameras and everything you need today to begin taking pictures right now.
I do.
But your business plan does not take into account, you say you're going to replace your camera every 3 years, but you don't take into account buying any additional. And yet you listed as one of the weaknesses that some of your competitors have a lot of extra equipment.
Yes. And generally one of the common things is the reason for extra equipment is so, if you're out on a shoot, for some unknown reason your camera just decides not to cooperate that day, normally you will, when I replace my equipment, I'm not going to just get rid of the equipment, my older equipment. That will move into my backup equipment. And it's not going to be the same caliber, no, but it's going to get the job done.
What about, you said you're running this business out of your home? Do you take into account any cost involved in the event? I realize this thing here is outside, which would either require you to have a very large backyard, or you have to travel, or you have to have backdrops. Yeah,
I'm planning on doing most of my pictures at locations chosen by the clients, whether this be, a park, out in the country somewhere, downtown, and that's where I'm figuring in my fuel and things like that. I might expand and work out something where I can turn an extra room in my house into a studio. There's quite a few photographers that do that. But for right now, all my pictures I'm planning to have them all outside.
So your profits really are coming from the prints,
exactly,
not from the city or anything like that. So what if somebody says that they want to hire you as a photographer, but they want to print their own prints? Would you do that, or you would just...
That's not something that I would do. Only, it's not just because it would cut out my profits, but when I just give them the ability to go out and print their own, that's allowing them to take them to Walmart and have them printed, something like that. And the only problem I have with that is their quality is not going to be anywhere near, the Douglas Black and White, and it's going to make it look like my pictures aren't up to par.
And I think if you tell somebody that whole quality thing, that's going to be a good thing.
Yeah.
They may wonder why they can't just go print them off themselves.
Just be going about my business.
Yeah.
Very good. Nice job.
All right. Is that all you needed from me?
That is.
All right. Thank you guys so much for your time.
Good job.
It's lunchtime, I think.
Lunch.
Very good. Is lunch here?